Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here, and today I'm back with a little travel vlog. So I'm going to try my hand at this for really the first time. I'm going to be vlogging to you guys while I'm in Stockholm for the next couple of days. Figured I'd kind of share with you guys a little bit of my travel experience, a little bit of my abroad experience. I'm going to have lots of content coming out when I get back, kind of based on my time abroad. I think it'll be a little bit different, something a little different to add to the channel, and I think it'll be good. I have lots of stories to share, so I think I might have a series where I share some of those stories. But yeah, so I'm in Stockholm for the next couple of days. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my adventure, and I hope you do enjoy. It's cold as shit, getting pelted by snow. It really does not snow like this in the parts of Europe that I've been to, but in Stockholm apparently it does. And it's cold as hell, but this is a really beautiful city. And you know, I'm toughing it out. I'm a tough guy. I'm a New Englander. It's what we do. I don't know if I might sound funny or something right now, but my lips are like frozen and super chapped, so I can't really talk that well. But you know, we're managing out here. We're managing. Check this bad boy out. This is something like, I think this might be the most famous church in Stockholm. It was one of the first things that came up when I looked up things to do. But this thing is sick. I don't know if I can go inside. Unfortunately, it looks closed. There are mad cars parked out here, so who knows. But either way, such a dope church, and it actually looks really cool. Just checked out the Nobel Museum, which was kind of underwhelming. Not a lot to it. I don't know, wasn't that great. Mainly kind of just need to use the bathroom, so that's kind of why I went. But then I checked out the Stockholm Church, which is off in the distance over there, the thing with the green cupola. The interior was maybe the most impressive out of any church I've seen so far in Europe. Really, really cool. And I'll throw some pictures up probably, because I took a bunch while I was in there. And there was an admittance fee of like 40 Swedish crown, which is like €4 maybe. So like $4, basically, more or less. Rough estimate. But yeah, no one was watching it, so you know, I kind of just breezed by that. But I kind of think admittance fees for churches a little dumb, but whatever. So this building right here is the Swedish Royal Palace. I'm gonna go check that out in a sec, but right now there's a bunch of buses in front of it, and I kind of want to get a cooler picture than a picture with a bunch of coach buses in front of it. So I'm kind of waiting, slipping in the snow, talking into a phone, and getting weird looks from people. So I just wrapped up at the Royal Palace. Place is pretty cool. It was kind of divided into 3 parts. So the first was the treasury, which is basically just has all these old artifacts like old crowns and swords and stuff. So it was pretty cool. The Swedes like clearly decorated the shit out of those crowns and those swords as like status symbols, because those were some serious like baller crowns. A couple of the crowns were like really, really small. So I don't know if the Swedes were just like a small people back in the day. Maybe they're small people now. I don't know. Like I don't really know of any famous Swedish basketball players other than Jonas Jerebko, who is pretty tall. God, that helicopter is annoying. I'm gonna walk in this direction. Where is it? Can we get it?
You suck.
We're gonna walk back this way. I walked out of this place and I was completely lost. But I'm still kind of lost. I don't really know where I am, because I walked out on like a different wing than where I entered. The second part was kind of the part that I was more interested in anyway, which are like the royal apartments, because I kind of like to see how those people lived and just how pretentious they all were. No, I'm kidding. But it was hilarious. So it kind of started out, they had this thing on all these royal weddings that they've done. They had all these old royal wedding gowns, they had this big ballroom. It was really, really cool. And I'm walking back through where I came, and there's this woman sitting in the corner, kind of with her back to the rest of the room, and she's got a baby in her lap, and I'm like, wow, this woman is literally breastfeeding in the middle of this palace. And like, I don't really care about women breastfeeding in public. Like, it does not bother me. I don't know why it bothers people. It's just a little tit. It's not going to harm anyone. But it was just hilarious to see it in this palace. Like, I shit you not, she was legit breastfeeding this crying baby. There was this sign that's like, no flash photography, no selfie sticks. For some reason, no food, no touching. But, you know, nothing that said no breastfeeding. So, I mean, more power to her, I guess. But the coolest part about the whole place is that they still use it for like cabinet meetings and like when they have royal guests. So I don't know if they just shut the place down when they need to use it from like tourists and stuff. I mean, I don't know, like they let people visit the White House, so I guess it would work the same way, like maybe. But the thing is, they would literally let you tour in the rooms that they would use. So like I've never visited the White House, so I don't really know how that works. And then the final part was the Kroner Museum. So there used to be this old castle here before they built the palace. It was like a castle that was built in like 1200, and then it burned down in 1697. And the story behind it's kind of hilarious. So they were supposed to be these fire watchers, like on duty, 3 guys in the north wing, which is the part that started burning. They weren't there. They were off doing their own thing, you know, whatever. And so of course they got, you know, the people were pissed at them. So 2 of the guys initially got sentenced to death, like legit death because of this. And then the one guy was like, he had to run the gauntlet 5 times. And I'll get more into the gauntlet in a sec because it's actually the funniest part. The 2 guys are sentenced to death, and then eventually their sentences are commuted by the king. So instead they have to do the gauntlet 7 times, and then they're sentenced to 6 years hard labor. And the gauntlet is like insane. Basically, the gauntlet is like this line of soldiers who all have these like sticks, like they're like batons, like that police would carry around. They line up like on both sides, and there's like, you know, a line in the middle, and these guys have to run up and down. So down and back is one gauntlet, and the soldiers are just beating them with sticks the whole time, like as they run up and down. And one guy like didn't make it, he died in it. I don't know if it was one of the guys who had to do it 7 times or the guy who only had to do it 5 times, but unreal. They put a ban on wood or peat buildings and wooden roofs or something like that, or maybe it's the other way around, wooden buildings and peat roofs in like 1640 because of all these fires that have been going on in Stockholm. And then like in 1680 they expanded the north wing by like 2 wood stories. So honestly they had to come into them. I don't know why they blame these 3 guys. I mean, obviously they should have been doing their job, but you know, whatever. I think the death sentences were a little harsh. The gauntlet seemed very harsh, but I guess that's kind of the way they did things back in the 17th century. The castle burned down and they built the palace in like 1750. And that's what exists now. So that was my visit to the palace. Pretty cool place. Glad I did it. Got the student rate, which was clutch. It was like half off. And now I'm gonna go get lunch. So a little post-lunch update here. I just ate at some I guess it's some pretty famous pub. It's like Wimmerström's pub. Kind of hilarious. I wasn't planning on doing any more vlogs until kind of the end of the day. Or vlogs, I keep saying vlogs because my phone is like rapidly dying. But I actually have to show you guys something really, really funny. This dude, I guess I should hold it like this. This dude is out here literally fly fishing in like, I mean, it's like 0 degrees Celsius. And this dude got a picture of it. I'm kind of jealous, but like, I mean, at first I thought he was just out there like trying to get a picture, but he's actually fishing. Update, still can't figure out A, why this guy is fishing right now, B, why he isn't like, I don't know, using a boat maybe. I don't know if he thinks like he'll be more effective if he is, you know, like one with the fish or something, but I don't know, man, he's living it up out there, so. All right, and we back. Just wrapped up at the Vasa Museum, which was easily the coolest museum I've been to in a while. It's rated as like the #1 thing to do in Stockholm, and it's also like the most visited museum in Scandinavia, I want to say, and I can understand why. Basically, it's a museum about this 17th century warship that sunk in Stockholm harbor in 1628, and the ship was called the Vasa, hence the name, the Vasa Museum. And it was rediscovered 333 years later in 1961 by a team of divers who were organized by this Swede Anders Franzen. And the building itself is actually pretty cool. You can kind of see, this is like the backside of it. I'm sort of just walking around to record this, but yeah, the museum is really cool. So they recovered like 95% of the original ship because the Baltic Sea is, its water is pretty unsalty, I guess, or I guess they said the levels of salinity are really low. So that means the wood was pretty easily preserved. And so like and the ship is in there. That's like the center of the museum. I got a zillion pictures of it. Probably throw some of them up right now. So like 95% of it was original. I think they rebuilt like 5% of it, or at least that's what they claim. The museum itself was really, really cool. So I can understand why. And I'm like not a museum guy. Museums like are not stimulating enough for me. Too much stopping and starting makes my legs tired. Like I would rather just walk around and like explore the city that way, and then kind of discover like museums. That museum's super cool. I really like that one. I dug it. So if you're ever in Stockholm, I would recommend. Now, last event for the day, I'm gonna check out the Nordic Museum, which is actually free, starting in about 5 minutes. So I'm just kind of killing time until then. So a couple things I actually forgot to mention about my experience at the Vasa Museum. So I forgot to include the reason why it actually sank initially, which was like completely ridiculous. So, I mean, they said it sank literally because of squalls, which is like wind. So, I mean, like this great battleship that they built to fortify the Navy sank because of wind. And I guess they didn't put enough rocks in the base or something. which is like, come on, another example of Sweden maybe not thinking things through as much as they probably should have. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was I came across this one guy who was just like lying down on a bench with his shoes off, and he was like on his phone, and I don't know what he was doing. I didn't even know if the museum had Wi-Fi. I wasn't on my phone because I've been trying to save my phone battery. Yeah, the guy was right. I got a quick picture of him, so I'll throw that up. It's not a very good picture because I was kind of trying to be discreet about photographing him, but yeah, that was interesting. So I just wrapped up at the Nordic Museum. It wasn't that interesting inside. It was cool to see the interior of the building, but other than that, exhibitions didn't really seem all that interesting. I wasn't in there for more than like 20 minutes. Currently walking through large amounts of snow so that I can have some goddamn privacy. Actually, like a little, oh, whoops, almost dropped my phone. It'll take some time to do some final thoughts or some initial impressions, I guess, of Stockholm. So like I've already kind of said, very picturesque city, very cool to see in the snow. Like I said before, kind of unique, at least for me, seeing a European city like this in the snow. Very picturesque. Definitely cool to just sort of walk around and discover parts of it. I like that part of it. Definitely my kind of city. Anyway, that is pretty much going to do it for day 1 of my Stockholm vlog. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Stay tuned for day 2. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.